Cricket is truly back in Chinnaswamy with the bang, serving hot biryani with extra salt on it.
Extra salt.
What an
Unfortunately, the
evening.
Hyderabadis found their biryani a little too salty yesterday. Three catches, top tier catches, all of them.
Yeah, this is your fair warning that never hit the ball where Phil Salt is standing.
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody got some flashbacks of AB de Villiers, that insane catch of Alex Hales in 2018 through Moeen Ali's bowling. We all remember that. And this one was very similar in terms of difficulty and where the ball went. It was almost the same region. That was mid wicket. This was square leg. Very small
That
difference.
was a Superman catch. This is a Spider-Man catch. That's the
Spider Man
difference.
catch. Yeah. One was up in the air, vertical, one was horizontal. Hmm. So yeah, it was. I think that was the biggest point of discussion yesterday because we all know the statement catches win matches, but at the end of the day, I think that's what made the difference between a 200 and a 225. At the end of the day, we would have still chased it, even if it was a 225, 230 score. Given the fact that we had 4 overs to spare, we would have still chased it, but that psychological pressure would have been there if there was a 225 or a 230 score.
Indeed,
And
it was a
getting
300 alert game had we batted first.
absolutely. I mean, we were I think 150
One
odd in 11
120-ish
overs.
after 10 overs.
Okay, yeah, 120ish after 10 overs. I think 150 in like 13 overs. I think,
Hmm.
but we were on course for 300 if there were those many runs in the first place. Loved watching the game. Slight disturbances here and there in terms of the collapses that happened in the middle overs. But before we get to that, let's talk about the Chinnaswamy, right? We were there at the game yesterday, both Sumukh and I would say that it was beautifully organized when compared to all these years of, you know, heavy crowd mismanagement and the kind of inconveniences that are caused on a regular basis at every single game over the past few years. All of those have been put aside. They've restructured the entire thing. We had free metro tickets to travel to the metro station to avoid congestion of traffic around the area. Whoever came with their own transport, they were asked to park around 1.5 kilometers away from the stadium, and then they had to walk over, which I think is a fair thing to do given that there is so much traffic around the stadium, with the number of people walking around on the streets. Given that there are a large number of people walking around on the streets, they actually covered for that by introducing segmented gates, which will each allow access to a fan pit of sorts, which can hold your fans
Large chunk of people.
in pretty large numbers. Yeah. And from there, you're directed into specific gates, which take you to your stands. And that avoids congestion of crowds on the road, which is solid again, in my opinion. 3 layers of security checks, which again is necessary given what's happened in the past. And that's followed by a good amount of food that was being circulated around. There were, I think, good quality of food for that matter, right? What we've seen last year, I think it was a debatable thing, but this time you had Domino's serving pretty decent pizza, samosa party with what, 5 samosas at 200, California burrito with absolutely beautiful rice balls, nothing
And
different
bang
from
on
how you
pricing.
would bang on pricing. $300 for a rice bowl, I would pay that
Not a
at
huge difference from the
if I'm
store.
ordering it on Zomato, so it's valid. So a rice ball for 300 seems completely justified to me, and I would eat that any day of the week because it's the same price that I would pay that if I'm ordering it on Zomato. So food, great quality. The match by itself was pretty decently organized, and there was also a solid 1 minute of silence that was observed by the stadium. it's insane that the Chinnaswamy can stay quiet for that long, and it was beautiful to see. It was a very humbling experience, I would say, for a lot of people that were present at the stadium. And hey, the tribute was solid. There were no cheerleaders from RCB side. Just if anyone picked up on that little factor, SRH cheerleaders were present. There were no cheerleaders for RCB. I think that also has to do with the fact that we are technically mourning, and we can't have people dancing around like that. Players had black armbands. They had the number 11 jerseys during practice. Basically, KSCA and RCB did everything that they could in their power to make sure that these 11 fans were given the tribute that they deserve, while our government, on the other hand, is begging for tickets with their MLAs. Whole other topic completely.
The tickets, on the other hand, is like it's on an unreachable level for any individual in the city or in the country to get their hands on. Yeah, fair. It's just a limited number of games. They are the champions. They're hot at the moment in the market. So you get lucky, you get tickets. But yeah,
I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it's been for RCB tickets over the past maybe 3 or 4 years. A little longer, I would say, but especially in the past 3 years, it's been almost impossible to get our hands on. 2024, 25, 26. I've not found it easy to
in
book
fact,
tickets
I've
through
tried
the website.
tried booking tickets from the website for many long years. This is the first time I got the tickets through RCB website.
Yeah. I think the only other time I got it was in 2024 for the KKR game. So you could see how difficult it is to get our hands on the tickets. And honestly, a solid match, uh, given my experience at the stadium yesterday.
A full house, full packed Chinnaswamy,
Full
loud,
house.
extremely loud, and that's the same as expected welcome that we wanted for the opening game, despite there not being an opening ceremony.
Yeah.
The top,
No, there
the
was there
top
was some sort of an opening ceremony. I wouldn't call it a ceremony of sorts. It was more of just Vijay Prakash singing songs from a
Sure,
stage that
we'll take
nobody
it
could
any day.
see. Yeah, will take it. I mean, Vijay Prakash, solid singer. We have, no regrets, no complaints, and it was a solid experience altogether.
Yeah,
Also, let's also just quickly cover the exit process, right? Now, getting out of the stands was a little bit of a hassle, but there's not much that they can do because that's all the space that they have. But once you get down the stairs, once again, free space. You
peaceful.
can you have all the room you need if you want to breathe, and it is overall, I would say, not bad at all. And while we were exiting, we had announcements being made on the speakers to let everybody know that the metro is operational until 1 a.m., which I think a lot of people already knew. But the added factor here was the metros were operational once every 3 minutes, which means you're not going to have people clustering themselves inside one train. We got seats as well in the metro while going back. I think once I changed to the green line, I had no issues whatsoever. I got a whole row to myself. So it was well organized. They are beautifully tied up with the Bangalore Metro, and it's working out pretty well
The
for them.
alignment with the Namma Metro is beautiful. There's no
Solid.
waiting time of train. Earlier, the trains used to wait in Kaban Park and MG Road for the trains to fill or overfill rather.
Exactly.
But this time it's like
Yeah.
every 3 minutes
Yeah.
makes it
So
much
so
more
just to give
convenient.
you guys a point of reference, last year we had to wait in the same train for over half an hour for the train to start moving because they wanted to clump as many people as possible within the same train and send it across because there were just so many people. Um, Given that case that we had to deal with last year, we will take this any day of the week. It is beautifully organized. I know I'm saying this over and over again, um, but that's just the fact of the matter.
And one more point that I observed is you are not allowed to stand anywhere across the stadium. You're not
Yes.
allowed to wait. Like you have people are keeping an eye on you. Like there's so much amount of security and the
Security.
bowlers, they make sure that
Yeah.
you don't stand in a single place and you are moving all the time.
Exactly. Also, the street vendors who are selling jerseys around the area, they're not allowed
Hawkers
to
have been
sell it
killed.
near the gates. They've been moved to the other side next to Cubbon Park, near the metro stations, so that nobody is going to face issues with space. So they were very clear about how they wanted the proceedings to go. And this fan pit area that I mentioned a few minutes ago was actually the previous NCA that they have now restructured into a fan
Temporarily
holding
using
area.
for the
Yeah,
fans, accommodation of
yeah.
fans.
So they've utilized the resources that they have available to them to what I believe is it's close to its fullest potential. Let's phrase it that way.
Well, NCA has a new facility near the airport. It's almost irrelevant
Yeah.
now during the
The center
IPL
of
time. They
excellence
might as
exists.
well
We
make
don't,
use of
yeah.
space.
Yeah. When you have the center of excellence, you don't really have to worry about having the NCA. But yeah, coming to the actual match by itself, absolute thrashing. We'll start with the first innings. A lot of people had their concerns about whether Jacob Duffy should start. We mentioned yesterday that extra bounce and hit the deck is going to make a large difference, especially with a tall bowler like Jacob Duffy, and that is exactly what happened. Top edges flying straight up in the air, getting caught. 3 wickets in the power play. I would say solid deal given SRH's top order.
Yeah. Uh, just a few months of passage in time. Jacob Duffy was playing the series in India. He got bashed around by Abhishek Sharma all the time. Gave
Exactly.
Abhishek Sharma literally gave him nightmares, and that continued his form even in the World Cup. And everyone was just straight up mocking that Duffy shouldn't be played. We should play Tushara, or we should go with an all Indian pace attack. But yeah, RCB backed him, and they have worked in the back doors to change his length. He has brought the
Yes.
length back. It's a known fact that in Chinnaswamy, when you hit the deck, there is always something for the bowlers, and
Yeah.
it's proved yet again that he picked up 3 wickets, and also a point on Patida's captaincy to finish his quota of 4 overs. Duffy is a
The Lauren Bell
opening
mentality.
new ball bowler. Uh, make use of the absolute potential that he brings in, and it worked out in favor of Patida. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Another point that I want to, put out there is a small comparison between the lines that Duffy bowled to Abhishek Sharma in the World Cup versus the lines that he bowled to Abhishek Sharma in yesterday's game. Now, Santner had set up his field to Abhishek in a manner that he has two fielders out on the offside. Duffy was expected to bowl a wide outside off stump line, which is somewhere around his shoulder height, which Abhishek managed to just time over the infield to take away for four over mid wicket, which did not make sense to me because you give Abhishek any sort of width, and he's usually pretty good with it. This time, they bowled to his hips. Both Duffy and Bhuvi maintained a line just around leg stump in that blind spot, which also
crooked
resulted in a
angle.
few wides. Yeah, which also resulted in a few wides going down leg side, but they didn't deter from their plans. Once they had conditioned Abhishek Sharma into preparing himself for that straighter, almost on the pads sort of a line, Duffy decided to bowl a bit of a surprise bouncer, which caught him off guard and resulted in the top edge. And this is exactly what we want to see when we speak about hit the deck bowling, right? Very similar with Romario Shepherd as well. I know he went for runs, I know he went for 54. That is expected of Romario Shepherd. But the fact that he's giving you 3 wickets at an economy of what, 11 is still
Yeah,
manageable.
at least like 10 runs short, I would have taken it any day. But those 10 runs, it's fine. Like it was a good batting track. Like later on in the game, it
Yeah,
got better to bat on, and the batters were set, and they it was in a point of time when they were supposed to go hammer and tongs, but
correct.
also slightly questionable that Romario was given to complete his full 4 overs of quota. It could be based on yesterday's match scenario, but Ideally,
I
he
would
should be
say
given a
it's
few
largely
overs.
because Abhinandan was not exactly at his best. Although I like that he was sticking to the lines that he was asked to bowl, right? I was sitting there trying to predict what he would do every single ball, and he was doing exactly what I asked for. It's just that he was unlucky enough to leak a few runs, and I still feel like he was hitting his lines properly. It's the classic Prema Rawat case of you're doing everything right, but you're getting everything wrong. So that is something that has a lot to do with luck, I would say. Duffy should have bowled one over during the death. I feel like, given yesterday's scenario, unfortunately, they couldn't reserve an over for the death. But that automatically resulted in them having to use Romario in the death overs, which doesn't really do them a lot of good. Shepard
And
on the
Kunal was
machine.
not given the third over.
That I would like to emphasize on this Krunal Pandya factor, right? He was bowling pretty well in the first over. He kept it pretty tight, and he came back the next over with this that whole Kedar
Kedar
Jadhav
Jadhav ball.
action. Yeah, he used to do that very frequently back in the day. He did not use it last year, and I was actually kind of proud that he didn't use it last year. But now that he started doing it again, the only issue that I have with it is the fact that he makes it too obvious. His complete
Hmm.
action changes even before the ball is bowled, right?
Kind of predictable.
How, yeah, but how does he change the predictability of this specific delivery? You can come in with the exact same action and slow it up. That is going to fuck with the batter's head. If you try to, when you change your action and you go almost sideways like this, the batter knows what's coming. The batter knows it's going to be a fast ball on the stumps,
Lot.
almost a Yorker, sometimes in the slot. He landed one decent Yorker. The other one ended up being a slot ball almost outside leg stump,
But
which ended up getting swept for a
Ishan
six.
picked up and
Same
sent
thing.
it for
Yeah.
six.
Same thing. If he does it with a bit of a variation in his pace, that's going to give him an entirely different dimension to work with. And it's almost similar to how Malinga used to bowl his slower balls, right? He came in with that weird ass action. People used to expect a quick little Yorker, and the number of times he's gotten wickets on slower Yorkers is appalling. So it's just something that he could think about, something that he could work on in the nets. I'm sure it might have crossed his mind at this point, but it's just out there for him.
Well, his bowling was great. Like there was nothing much wrong in his lines or anything, but it was just the class and form of Ishan Kishan. Like he was ready to take on any bowler from the ball one. He looked in proper confidence, and he was going hammer and tongs even with one side of the wickets being collapsed. But good to
He's just been
see
in great form since the
stability
World
in the
Cup.
back of Ishan Kishan as well.
Absolutely. He's been in great form during the World Cup. Ishan Kishan as a batter, no doubts over there. Ishan Kishan as a captain, again, I feel like he's a great captain, especially when I saw him during the domestic run. It's just that he doesn't have the bowlers to work with
You don't have
as
the
the
resources.
captain in SRH. Yeah. When you have no bowlers, if you score even a 250, you can expect to get hit for 251. That's all I'm saying. Like bowlers win
And
your tournaments.
their fastest bowler was Harshal Patel, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Jaydev
makes
Unadkat's pace has gone so down that it's like a spinner at this point.
yeah. He's always
And
been like one.
yeah, he used
Harshal
to
Patel also is a
consistently
running
bowl
off
at
spinner.
130, so Jaydev
Yeah.
Unadkat, but this looked like his pace has clearly gone down. And the David Payne, it's like you wait for an eternity for that man to release the ball. It's such a slow action.
He is still a very talented bowler. I like the way he's bowled. I've liked watching him in the Big Bash. I didn't think they'd let him play directly in the playing 11. I did not expect that. But yes, their
Classic
batting goes
Patel
down all
Payne.
the way up to 10. So one factor that I thought they could have done a little differently is they played with three overseas, right? David Payne came in only as an impact player. Given that they had a bit of a collapse, was there some kind of a space for them to sub out maybe Salil Arora for Liam Livingston? Once Arora's wicket fell, you impact sub him for someone like a Liam Livingston and try to get those 30, 40 runs extra because you know that your batters aren't going to give you anything. So the few balls that were faced by the likes of Harshal Patel, David Payne, and people of that sort, Harsh Dubey for that matter, maybe if Livingston had faced even half those deliveries, you could have gotten even 25, 30 runs extra.
Yeah, had they
Just,
lost the wicket of Klassen a bit more earlier, I think their management would have given this a thought of playing Levy.
yeah.
But since they got till like 170, 180 until that collapse, I think they were
Yeah.
clear that they needed an extra
There
bowler.
was there was a case in point for Livingston to come in the 17th or 17.2 or something like that. I feel like having 3 overs left to spare is still a pretty big deal, and you can't sacrifice those 25 runs knowing that you have no bowlers. Aniket Verma did a
Oh,
solid job. I agree. He's been one player that we've been looking out for a long time, and I did not know how they would manage to play Aniket Salil and Nitish Reddy in the same team, which is what I was concerned about yesterday. And I mentioned that there might be a case where Nitish Reddy is almost dropped from the team at some point because as a bowler he hasn't inspired too much confidence, and as a batter he's very slow to start off, and very rarely does he manage to catch up on that strike rate.
yeah,
He's just been out of
incredible
form.
talent to bat under pressure and take that score to 200. He was batting at more than 300 strike rate, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, easily. And
Solid power hitter.
since last year, he's been pulling off these little saves from collapses over and over and over again. And to bear the pressure of a team like that, which is star-studded in the top order, and you are batting at seven with nobody to support you. It takes a lot from a youngster to be able to handle that kind of a pressure. So solid stuff from him.
Incredible talent to something look out for. Like I think he'll be the player to watch out for from the Sunrisers camp for the rest of the season, no doubt.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
Nitish
no doubt.
Reddy's place might be under scrutiny now. They might
Yeah,
think of playing Smaran at four. You
it's
never
very
know.
possible. Yeah, if they do place Smaran at four, then that gives them a whole other dimension to work with because Smaran is a lovely talent. But I would say the only issue there is they have four left-handers in the top four then. So just
And that
that they've
also
been
delays
exposed to
the
that
entry point of Klassen, which
exactly.
kind
And
it's kind of a
yeah,
problem.
and you can't really utilize Smaran the same way at number five because he's not a lower order player. He's not a finisher. Should SRH change their batting order? Interesting question, but there is nothing they can do so far until every team is expected to back their players for a couple of games. The only change that might happen is Smaran for Reddy, nothing else.
The only downside of yesterday's SRS batting is they lost their openers very quickly.
Yeah,
Had they stuck on for 6 overs with just one wicket out of their pockets, then the situation could have been slightly different. But
that
from
is the Chinnaswamy template.
yeah, from
Like
Ishan Kishan
given what
onward,
we've seen,
everyone fired. You
exactly,
just hang on to the first 6 overs playing low risk shots against your
exactly.
matchup bowlers, then you have the game set for the next 14 hours. You can double it or triple it up from the power play score in Chinnaswamy.
Exactly. So, ideally speaking, a 60 for Nola, a 60 for one in the power play is solid enough. And from there, you're looking good to get to even a 230 or a 240. So, it all comes down to how you preserve your wickets in, especially the first 4 overs. You can still attack them in the fifth and sixth, but those 4 overs very desperately require you to keep those wickets in hand because if you lose one, you could lose three very quickly.
Yeah. As
Yeah. So
expected, the
that
wicket was a good surface. It had a bit of spongy bounce, as Patida mentioned. Fresh wickets, you expect such bouncy conditions in Chinnaswamy.
so
And
in 2024, very similar wickets. I think we didn't have to deal with this whole issue of having to bat first and lose early wickets because Kohli and Faf handled these situations very well. Salt, on the other hand, is a bit of an aggressor, and irrespective of how the pitch is, he might end up losing his wicket. But given these situations, they've actually done a pretty solid job in 2025 with Salt to keep that momentum going and actually get to a decent defendable score. What is defendable? Even I'm not sure because we don't have a Hazelwood this time, or a Yash Dayal for that matter. But it's looking very promising the way our batters are playing.
Yeah. And let's talk about the fielding and the catching of Phil Salt.
Top class. So the first catch, a very crisply timed pull shot straight to almost a forward square leg, and Salt pouches that almost as if it's no big deal. The second one, which I thought was catch of the tournament until I saw the next one, was a skyer that landed right next to the boundary ropes. Salt lands on his back and lifts his legs up and falls the other way, barely avoiding the cushions. And then that third catch, I don't even know what to say about it.
It's just Phil Salt doing Phil Salt things. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, we did saw their fielding drills. Like Salt
Yeah.
was running from one end to another end to take those catches. He was preparing for these moments. Salt and David. David was
David was
casually
practicing in one
taking
hand.
that in one hand. They were
Yeah,
preparing for moments like this. Like when you have a slight chance that you can convert into a catch. These are the moments
exactly.
that can change the game, and the practice is giving them the results.
Yeah. And even aside
Um,
from Salt, right, I would say the fielding overall was top class. Devdutt Padikkal took two really good catches as well. You had Virat Kohli drop a catch and
Except,
then
oh
get
yeah,
like,
Kohli uncle dropping catch.
yeah, Kohli
It's just
dropped
age
the catch
factor.
and then the entire crowd cheered for him after that.
Yeah,
It's it's a very sarcastic cheer from the crowd, but like I bet Kohli enjoyed it as well.
yeah.
Same scene with SRH. That fielding overall was pretty solid, except for that one drop catch of Kohli by
Klassen
Klassen.
misjudged it. Yeah,
Klassen, yeah,
he was a bit too late to go ahead. He was thinking the ball
exactly.
was traveling to him until he saw the ball dipping in front of him.
It sounded like a very well timed shot, so I wouldn't like blame him for thinking that the ball was traveling to him. It was one of Kohli's signature flick shots that ended up not moving towards mid wicket and ended up going to long on instead. Um, it was just it was crispier than it looked. Like it just sounded crispier than it looked.
Yeah,
Simple as
day
that.
one of the tournament, and we already had catch of the tournament and shot of the tournament. In fact,
Oh yeah, that straight shot from Kohli. Okay, so let's get to the batting overall, right? Salt two quick boundaries and he was done with his contribution. Devdutt Padikkal comes in. First ball goes for six. And this is what I
finally
was
said.
saying yesterday, right? Irrespective of how well Venki has been doing in these practice matches, I am sorry you cannot make Devdutt Padikkal sit out because he's just been so good in this domestic leg. He's been so good in the practice games as well. He's been striking at 220, 230. So I just don't see a world where you ask Devdutt Padikkal to sit on the bench, especially after you've backed him so much in the previous season.
Yeah, he has shown some incredible potential last season, and DDP has been the star boy that we can't play, and we are playing him instead. He's been our Indian local star boy. It's a similar template what even Jacob Bethel plays. He started
Exactly.
the innings in a quick pace, and you never know when he'll be striking a 200 strike rate. That's exactly the same thing that Devdutt Padikkal has been doing. And when you have someone at the likes of Padikkal, you don't need a Venki or a Bethel to replace
Exactly.
him in that slot. He is doing his job, and RCB management has worked with him in the back doors, improved his power game massively. We could see him playing some crazy shots over covers, and those cut shots. What were those cut shots? Those were racing to the
Solid.
ball.
Cut shots. He had two beautiful sixes over covers, which I think almost hit the car, but just barely missed it. There was another one which
Patidar
he,
shot
just
that very
flicked.
close.
The Patidars also went. Devdutt also tried playing it over covers from the other end, and he almost reached the car, but it just fell in front of the car on the other side of the fence. There was another one that he flicked towards mid wicket, and that was beautiful to watch. at the start of his innings.
Yeah, then comes Patidar.
Yeah,
Patidar, like, I'm glad
31
that
of
finally
11.
he's. I would take that any day. Coming in at
Any day.
four, like if you're
You know,
contributing anything above 30 runs for your team at the strike rate of 200 or 250 plus, I would take that any day.
absolutely. So Patidar, solid job again. Jitesh couldn't get going. I would say that has a lot to do with urgency to finish the game too early.
To
After
get that
which,
net run rate up.
yeah, David and
And
Kohli took
then
a
we
little
had
bit of time to get going, but at
then
the
we
end of
had
the day,
just
we still
Kohli
finished with
doing
four
Kohli
overs.
things, chase, anchoring, and safely bringing us home.
Yeah. And it was a very well structured innings, right? He started off a little slow. Uh, he ended up accelerating it a little bit faster
After five, six balls, yeah.
through after a few balls. I think he was, I think, 19 of
By the end
20.
of 10 balls, he already was striking above 150.
Exactly, yeah. And he reached his 50 of, I think, 31, 32 balls.
Yeah, 33, 32, 33 balls.
Yeah, something around that line. And throughout this entire phase, right, it was something that I've loved watching Kohli do over these years is the ability to play second fiddle while still being the important factor in the batting partnership. It's such a strange concept to me that you are playing second fiddle, but you're the more important one. And somehow it's just
Some
Virat
concepts that
Kohli.
which are beyond understanding. This is
Yeah,
one such
it's
concept.
just beyond science.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have the likes of Padikkal, Patidar, even Salt for that matter, playing around Kohli and making sure the runs are coming. And if there is ever a situation which requires Kohli to go after the bowlers, he will. It's just that he does not play risky shots. He ensures that the win is sorted first, and once the win has been put aside, he aims for the net run rate. So once you were at a stage of what, some 40 required of 30 balls, from that point on, he took it apart fully. I think 40 of 36 was the equation,
Yeah,
something
last
around that
over
line.
17 was required, and then he went for like two sixes and two fours or something
Yeah,
like that.
two sixes, two
And
fours,
it
and
was
two
almost
short
like
runs.
he was reading the Harshal Patel. The first shot,
He-
like I think it was a predetermined shot to go six. Then he followed him and whacked it over the covers. Then he
Covers,
almost created the bouncers which flew across the edge, and then
uppercut.
the
Yeah,
lofted uppercut.
yeah.
That's just
Solid
pure
stuff.
goal.
I loved it. I loved every single moment of watching that man bat, as I always do. You know, there is nothing like a Virat Kohli innings, a good Virat Kohli 69 to get started off in 2026. Season
Yeah.
2 loading, you never know.
Yeah, from 2008 to 2024, RCB had only one successful 200 plus run chase in the IPL. And from there
Exactly.
to have like three successful 200 plus run chases in 2 years, it's very surprising for a RCB fan. Like, if you had told me this RCB would chase 200 plus comfortably like 3 years ago, I would have said, no. The
Yeah.
stats say no, never. RCB hasn't had a even like 190 successful chase in many long years.
Yeah. Because for a long time, 185 was good enough on Chinnaswamy, and our bowlers were so bad that they ended up leaking 200. It's just that we never had um, the middle order to take us past that 200 score, right? We saw that in the 2016 finals as well. Someone like Kohli started off with 120 for no loss. Sorry, did I get cut off?
Yeah, yeah, you're back now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Someone like Kohli Gale getting us started with 123 for no loss and then an absolute collapse from that point on. We have seen the worst of RCB, especially with its middle order woes and our death bowling. Don't even ask. It's the same guy making teams for SRH now, and look at the kind of bowling he structured over there. It's the same problem, right? You have no bowlers. You're just depending on three big hitters up top and a few others to surround them and contribute in whatever manner they can. You'll win some games here and there, but I'm sorry, it's not good enough to seal the deal.
Yeah, overall a
Right?
good game, fun, action packed. banger season opener. Moving on to the game
Always.
number two from Wankhede. It will be the
Wankhede.
Classico Mumbai versus KKR in Wankhede. I think for
Yep.
the first time in many years, SRK wouldn't be attending the first match of KKR.
For whatever reasons, I'm not. Wankhede has nothing to do with this. Um, Shruti says, "MI please lose." Shruti, I have a great statistic for you. MI has never won their opening game in the IPL ever. MI always like first match Devrige is a concept that is popularized by RCB, but it is owned by MI. First match Devrige is just peak MI.
Yeah. Yeah, the news
But
from the MI camp is that Mitchell Santner and Bill Jacks won't be available for the opening game for them.
yep.
So, what's your ideal 11 or
What's our
yeah,
ideal
ideal 12?
11? Let's put together
I think we
something.
don't even need this squad. Like, it's that easy
Yeah, I
of a
mean,
squad.
it's easy. You know that you
Yeah.
want Rohit Sharma to open with Quinton de Kock. A lot of people would go with Rickleton, but I think they've bought de Kock for a specific purpose, and you never know what they might do. So let's just say de Kock slash Rickleton for the sake of it. Surya at three, Tilak at four,
I
or
think
the other way
it's
around.
Ulta. Or
Yeah, Tilak at three, Surya at four. I'm down. I'm completely on board with that as well. Um, a cluster of Sherfane Rutherford, Hardik Pandya, and Namandir at 5, 6, 7. Agree so far. We'll go Corbin Bosch at number 8, maybe.
they don't have a spinner in place
They
of
don't.
Mitchell
I mean,
Santner.
they
They need
need
to
Allah.
play a spinner.
Yeah, they need a spinner. They need Allah Ghaznfar then.
Possible, it could
Mm,
be Ghazenfar because, yeah, he could be debuting tonight.
very possible. Because their other option is to play Mayank Markande as their bowler.
They'll go with Ala Ghazenfar.
Yeah. So okay, we have our 5, 6, 7 sorted. I feel like they still need
Then
a
it's
little bit
Jasprit
more
Bumrah,
batting.
Bolt,
Yeah, you have Bumrah, Bolt, and one of Shardul or Deepak Chahar.
Deepak Chahar.
Yeah, that is 10. So you need one spinner and an impact player. Our overseas players so far have been Dickok,
Rutherford, Allah.
Rutherford, Bolt, and Allah. Okay, that's your four overseas. There is no place for Corbin Bosch then.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
that being
easiest.
said, yeah, your impact player is now restricted to someone like a
Oh, interesting question.
huh,
Will Rohit Sharma be in the impact player list?
very possible. I would say Namandir would be their impact player.
Yeah, I don't think they will impact Rohit Sharma this season though.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he will
improved
be
on his
pretty
fitness.
quick in the field.
Yeah, there's a lot that's improved with Rohit Sharma's fitness overall. So I don't see Rohit Sharma playing as the impact player. It should be Namandir for all I'm concerned about.
But yeah,
Um,
no, Namandir also has been a very good fielder.
Yeah, and I think their impact player option is very dependent on how the team is structured. Now, if Santner and Jacks were available, this wouldn't be any question at all. They wouldn't need an extra overseas slot for Allah Ghaznfar as their primary spinner. But in this case, they kind of have to accommodate him. If he wasn't there, then Rutherford and Allah would have been replaced completely by Jacks and Santner, which would have deepened their batting a little more, which automatically allows them to play an extra fast bowler in Ashwani Kumar or maybe Shardul Thakur. You never know, right?
Yeah,
Um,
moving on
that being
to,
said,
yeah,
KKR. All right, let me just
I think
quickly
it's going
switch
to
over
be
to
Allen ahead of
Allen or
Seifert.
Seifert.
I think they will go with Allen initially.
Okay, because I felt that they would go with Seifert actually.
Oh yeah, Seifert also keeps. They need a keeper or Raghuvanshi
Allen is
can.
also a wicket keeper. Yeah, Raghuvanshi is a designated wicket keeper for Mumbai. So we know that Abhishek Nair has been doing some work in the background with him with his wicket keeping.
Okay.
But both Finn Allen and Tim Seifert are wicket keepers as well. So that's
Okay,
not
then
too much of
it's
an issue
Allen slash Cipher to open along with
with
Ajinkya
Rahane,
Rahane. Then number
100%.
three would
Raghuvanshi
be
3,
Raghuvanshi.
yes. Cam Green at
Then
4,
Cameron Green at four, yeah, no doubt.
that's 2 overseas. Let's go Rinku at 5.
Rinku at five, Roman Powell at six.
You'd go Roman Powell at 6. Interesting. So you're not looking at a place for Blessing Musrabani in the team then?
Oh, that takes up the spot. Green,
Because Sunil
Green, and
Narayan is their third overseas, obviously.
yeah, Sunil Narain, Green, one of
Seifert,
Seifert or Allen, and then
yeah,
you
which
have
leaves one more spot.
Roman Powell.
So, okay, so that means there's no spot for Blessing.
No spot for Blessing in that case.
Okay, yeah,
Since
fair enough.
it's Wankhede, I don't think I need Blessing Muzabani.
All right, makes sense, makes sense. Let's go. Okay, let's agree with that. Let's go Roman Powell
I
at
would
6.
play Blessing in Eden Gardens than in Wankhede.
Makes sense. I completely agree with that. I would say in Eden Gardens, they should, just make those typical 2017, 2018 pitches where it just turns like Bugri and play Anukul Roy as their
But you
second
never
spinner.
know with the Eden Gardens curator.
Yeah, that guy has worms in his brain, I tell you. Ramandeep at 7 goes without saying. Narayan at 8.
Chakru.
Chakru and three
They got
fast
Navdeep
bowlers would
Saini as their
be,
replacement for Harshit
yes,
Rana. I think he
I
might
I saw
start.
that. I would say Vaibhav Arora, Karthik Tyagi will start. The third seamer, who will also come in as impact player, will be one between Saini, Umran, or Saurabh Dubey. Saurabh Dubey was the first replacement that they signed, so he will probably be prioritized ahead of Navdeep Saini. Although there is a case in point for Umran Malik, but maybe not at the Wankhede because you bowl it faster, you get hit further.
The quicker you bowl at Wankhede, the quicker you get sent to the stands. It's
Exactly.
the universal law of Wankhede for many long years now. Lot of
Years and
questionable
years ago.
spots or lot of questions to be asked. Who and way to play for KKR?
Yep.
Good or rather bad headache to have since most of their bowlers are gone for the rest of the
Yeah.
tournament. Mm, but I think it's going to be a good contest, good fun for a neutral game for us.
Always, always. Also, in case people were wondering, Jasprit Bumrah is fit and he has joined the squad for today's game because there was a little bit of concern here and there about who might play if not for Bumrah. But he is fit and that's not an issue. Uh,
Yeah, it's 7 more minutes to toss, and I think we can wrap up this episode and we shall see you soon after this game or maybe just before tomorrow's game. We'll be
yep.
back soon. Until then, enjoy the good game of cricket and have a great Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, because you know that our next episode is going to be a very, very important stream because it is the Jail Classico happening tomorrow. I
We
know
will be
Surya is going
back
to
for.
make the
We will
first
be there.
comment.
We will be there.
We'll be over here in front of you guys, no matter what.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Until then,
ladies
see
and
you.
gentlemen,
Yeah.
see you. Goodbye.